Hello, fellow vapors. Vaping Newbie here, and I wanted to take time to talk about something that you probably have tons of videos on, but I wanted to do my take on it, and it is the Aspire Atlantis Sub Ohm tank. We'll break it down first. Comes in this very nice plastic box, the word Atlantis described on the side, and of course, Aspire. Now, one thing about Aspire, their packaging is really nice. Unfortunately, I'd opened up already and ripped a bit of it, so you pardon me. You get your tank section. We'll look at that a bit closer. And then on the bottom, you have a spare glass tank, which is always handy, and an extra coil head, which is going to be needed. When you look at the tank itself, it's actually very attractive, all stainless steel. It's 22 millimeter diameter on the bottom. It has their name, Aspire, emblazoned on the top. It comes with a wide bore drip tip, which is exchangeable for any 510 drip tip if you don't like this one, which is fine. You have your airflow control on the bottom here, and it goes from the very small to something that's wide open, which is actually going to be a lot of fun. It is completely wide open airflow control. You take a look at the unscrew it, very similar to a Nautilus or a Nautilus Mini. It just unscrews from the bottom, and there you go. There's your coil head. Now this coil head is a 0.50 ohm, so half an ohm, if you will. Again, very much like the Atlantis. Very much like the Nautilus. It has that very large plastic O-ring on the bottom to stop any kind of leakage. So hopefully it works. And they come with these coils which are specific to the Atlantis, very large coil, and it's simply just well put together. Threading was very nice. Now, before you start using it, there is one thing that you must do, and I cannot stress this enough. This has a cotton wick, and you can fry cotton real fast, and so you want to make sure that you prime that coil very well. You want to make sure you get some liquid in. Make sure it primes, and you want to check to make sure that it's sucking up that juice underneath it. So it's got a good prime to it. I'm going to let that sit for a bit. And for somebody that's new to these low resistant coils, if you're using a high concentration of nicotine, you're going to want to drop it before you buy this. So you want to make sure that if you're trying a 6 milligram of nicotine, in my opinion, you might want to go to a 3. If you're at 3, you might want to go to a 0, because this is a cloud chaser. Now, one of the things you're going to need to know, in my opinion, is if you can see that on the coil, you see where the cotton is, right there. On the base here, or on the top here, you have notches. You can see those notches. You want to make sure that when you reassemble everything, that the notches and those coil, or that cotton, lines up. I cannot stress that enough, because if not, you're going to get some dry hits. You're going to get, and that's very unpleasant. You don't want to experience that. And it doesn't hold a lot of e-liquid, unfortunately, but I know that if you put the coil in first, the coil head in first, and then fill it, you'll get a bit more. But just for this video, I'm just going to do it the old-fashioned way, which you turn that upside down. You want to make sure you get no juice in that center, and then you want to make sure that those areas are lined up again, and you want to give it some time to prime. So I'm going to put this aside, and we'll come back and take a look after a few minutes. So now I'm going to be filling it, but I want to show you, because you have those notches, I have the juice sitting just underneath those notches. I really don't want to go any higher than that. You don't want to get juice down the center post. My wick has been primed, so I'm going to reassemble all of this. And one of the last things I'm going to do before I even try it is I want to take a look. I was telling you about the notches and the cotton. I want to make sure that that's all lined up well, whether you have to tighten it a bit more You want to make sure, and I don't know if you could tell, but you could see the cotton there. You want to make sure that that's all lined up. So we're going to let that soak for a bit, and then we'll come back and give it a whirl. Before we go on to the Atlantis, I want to do just talk a bit. The Atlantis bothered me. I couldn't get my arms around why it bothered me. Then it dawned on me. The Atlantis was made for a new vapor to be able to blow a cloud. People that are serious cloud people are building rebuildable dripping atomizers. They're building very low ohm coils, 0.10, 0.20, and they're getting billowing clouds. And then a newer vapor joins a Facebook group or watches a video, sees that and goes, I want to do that. Aspire turned around and said, well, we're going to make it easy for you. We're going to build a tank that all you have to do, very much like a Nautilus, very much like the Nautilus Mini, very much like the Aero tank. All you got to do is screw in a coil head. That's it. And off you go to the races. Well, there's some things that you should consider. First of all, the guys that are using those sub-ohm rebuildable dripping atomizers have the machinery behind it to make it work. Aspire came out, made the Atlantis, and the first thing that newer vapors want is, I want to get that because it could blow a cloud. But hey, I could put it on my iStick. It's not going to work. So the most popular device out right now is the iStick. Will not fire the most popular tank or clearmizer out right now, the Atlantis. Okay? So Aspire Smart, they came out with a sub-ohm battery. And you know what? You put the sub-ohm battery or the Atlantis on the sub-ohm battery, and it looks really sweet. And you get the whole package for about $100. My good buddy Mario at G2K Vape here in Montreal was serving a client on Saturday, and the guy bought the kit, and it's a really good deal. Like I said, about $100, and everything you need is there, except the juice. Now, when you're buying juice, I would highly recommend that if you're at a 12 milligram of nicotine level, drop that down to 6. I think you're going to enjoy it more. No hate mail. This is just my opinion. If you drop your nicotine level, I find you're going to get more enjoyment out of it. So you have the proper coils in the Atlantis, you have the proper juice, and you have the proper device. And now you're all set to go. You want to make sure of a couple of things. You want to make sure that, again, it's well primed. The last thing you want is a dry hit. What's a dry hit? Not enough juice is on the wick. You take that toot to create a billow of smoke, and you get burning sensation going down your throat. That means there's not enough juice on the wick. So again, I cannot state this more. You have to make sure that the wick is well saturated. You want to make sure that it sits for a bit so it absorbs some juice, and then go. You want to look at those little notches that I told you about. Make sure that the wicks are visible before you go. That way the wick is always taking in juice. And then you're ready to try it. And I have this. I'm vaping it at 30 watts. So let's just stop and talk about that for a second. You're going to be vaping a low ohm coil at a high wattage, which means two things. You're going to go through juice a lot quicker, and you're going to go through batteries a lot quicker. So keep that in mind, folks. I can't stress that enough either. So here we go. It's my first attempt at trying to do a proper cloud. I got to catch my breath to do it, and here we go. I won't know what that looks like until I watch the video. Hopefully it came out good. So from what I see, I'm getting a lot of vapor and I'm getting a lot of flavor. It really is something. They've managed to take a tank and marry two things. You get vapor and you get flavor. So that's a really nice job, Atlantis, or Aspire, I should say. So folks, if you're going to get it, it's a nice tank. Remember, the drip tip gets hot as you do it. You can feel it on your lips, but hey, it's metal. It transfers that heat. Make sure you get the right juice, and make sure you have the right device. And I think you will enjoy the Aspire Atlantis. A good job overall. Again, the glass tank allows you to try your other juices, your cinnamons, your menthols without worrying about cracking it. They give you the spare glass tank that's inside. So they really did a good job of packaging it. Again, I think the Atlantis is going to be a predecessor to many more. I know Kangaroo's coming out with one, or they've already come out with it. And they've sort of married a rebuildable to the sub-ohm clearomizer. I'm happy with the Atlantis, and I hope you would be too. Don't think I'm ready for a cloud competition, but I am enjoying it. Folks, it's always great spending time with you. I hope you got something out of it. Stay healthy and happy vaping. Take care now.